concept of an entire weekend away seemed crazy, selfish, totally awesome. We had our bags packed a month ahead of time. In October of 2006, 5 of us headed out on our kidless adventure. It was the first time any of us had spent a night away from our families since we became parents. For 2 of us, including me, it was the first and last time we'd get away for a while, since we had already managed to get ourselves knocked up again. I was about 12 weeks into a pretty tough pregnancy, but refused to cancel my plans. I had booked a body wrap for Saturday morning and prayed I'd feel well enough to go through with it. I knew I deserved to relax, but also knew it would take me a week to recover from the effort. Honestly, that weekend would have been considered a success if all that had happened was that we each got 2 days of uninterrupted bowel movements, but we had a lot of lost pampering time to make up for. Why is it that when you try to do nice things for yourself once you're a parent, it always feels like a compromise? None of us were in the habit of pampering ourselves anymore. Heck, none of us were in the habit of showering regularly anymore. But we were determined to fight the good fight and make the most of every minute of this vacation from reality. We stumbled into our quiet suites and began a weekend of trying to figure out how to relax and enjoy ourselves while wrapped in the threads of mom guilt that had secretly wound around us over the past year. I woke up the next morning wanting to stay in bed, but insisted on soaking up every luxury I could, even if it killed me. So we all headed over to the spa facilities. I stripped down to my birthday suit in the spa bathroom, like the desk clerk told me to do for the wrap, quickly covering up with a fluffy robe, as my less uptight friends changed in the main locker area. Holding the robe tight, so as to not accidentally flash anyone, I blushed furiously at the thought of someone getting a peek of my private parts due to an overzealous leg crossing or too loose belt knot. With all the poking and prodding I had during my pregnancies, you'd think my prudishness about public nudity would have waned. Not the case. I was still the girl who didn't wear shorts unless it was over 100 degrees out. I was still the girl who hadn't owned a skirt in 15 years. I was uncomfortable even with this naked under my robe situation, but fought through it in the name of relaxation. Because nothing's more relaxing than battling the threat of a wardrobe malfunction. Everyone else comfortably chatted as hints of their cleavage peeked out, and bathrobe hemlines slid up their bare thighs. I averted my eyes and held on tight until my name was called. When we entered my treatment room, table prepped to discreetly wrap me up like a burrito, the lady who was to do my wrap stopped short and said, "I'm sorry, but we can't do wraps on pregnant women." I told her that I had confirmed they could with 4 of their employees, so she went out to grab her manager, who came to tell me that they absolutely could not do it. I asked for a pregnancy massage instead, but they said the only other treatment room available at that time was a body scrub. I wanted a wrap. I'd settle for a massage. If I were home, I'd cancel the appointment and wait for exactly what I wanted. Actually, if I were home, I'd be elbow deep in someone else's poop. So I bucked up and accepted the offer of a body scrub. I used to like to try new things, and really, how bad could it be? We walked into the adjoining room, and what stood before me looked like a waterboarding platform for starfish. The treatment room was giant and glaringly white. It had a massive chrome rod with 7 shower heads hanging from the ceiling, and the floor was made of New York City subway tiles. It was like walking into a kinky couple's resort's shower stall, but without the romance, and with some random lady I had met only 7 minutes earlier. There was no changing area. There was no privacy screen. As casually as she could manage, and without meeting my eye, the therapist told me to remove my robe and lay down on the table. Totally naked. On the starfish table. Let's take stock. Yes, I wanted to have this luxurious spa treatment done. No, I didn't want this woman seeing my bits and pieces. I believe this is what one calls a dilemma. I had to force my